Joining me now is Eric Ham, our CTV News political analyst. Eric, thank you as always for joining us.
It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Okay, let's talk debate. And is Trump being Trump? With the probably.
He is. I think he is using this for headlines. He's also using it to bolster his candidacy. But he certainly does make it a claim that he did have an agreement with President Joe Biden, not with the Vice-President Kamala Harris. However, I do believe that the American public will want to see these two individuals have a debate to speak about many of their issues and, of course, their vision and their ideologies for the future of the country.
So do you think he's eventually going to say yes? And I guess the question is, when will he say yes?
I think we will get a more definitive answer as to whether or not Trump will actually go forward with the debate based on what the polling data is actually showing us coming out of the Democrats' convention next month. Already, we're seeing a lot of momentum with Kamala Harris and her candidacy. She's closed the gap tremendously with former President Donald Trump in many of these key battleground states. And I do believe there will be some bit of a bounce that she's going to get both from her vice presidential pick, which we can expect in a matter of days, as well as from the convention. And I think if there is a notable 8 to 10 point bounce, which is not unusual, then I think that will perhaps force Donald Trump to actually debate the candidate, given that he will need that in order to try to close that gap with the polling data.
How does Trump derail this momentum that Harris seems to have right now?
I believe that what we're seeing now is the Trump campaign trying to do everything it can to blunt her momentum. They have tried going after her in personal attacks. They've tried to tie her to President Biden. None of that has worked. I think what we're going to have to see is the Trump campaign try as best they can to define Kamala Harris, but clearly she's made a very aggressive attempt to go on the offense. And so I think that's going to be very difficult for Donald Trump to do, which is why I do believe that we could see the former president actually on a debate stage with Kamala Harris.
And one other thing I want to talk about a little bit, the agreement by Trump to talk to the FBI regarding the assassination attempt. What can he possibly say that would help the investigation or change the investigation?
I do believe that he could speak more about his injuries. We have not heard much from either the physicians who treated the former president or from Donald Trump himself and those around him about what actually happened. Was it shrapnel? Was it an actual bullet that actually hit his ear? In fact, during congressional testimony last week, the head of the FBI, Christopher Wray, seemed to suggest that even the FBI was not clear about what happened. And so I do believe a sit down with the FBI could provide more definitive information about not only what happened, but also more about the injuries to the former president.
And of course, there's all kinds of theories going around right now on both sides of the political spectrum. He was shot, wasn't shot. It's a piece of glass from a teleprompter. So this might put all that to rest.
It certainly will. And again, I think it's unusual that we haven't heard more of a sit down. Of course, many have looked for President Biden to be more forthcoming about his level of fitness. But I think it's been a very muted response from the Trump campaign about his alleged injuries as well. And I think that's perhaps one of the reasons why the nation has moved past this assassination attempt so quickly, is because there hasn't been as much information forthcoming.
Okay. Eric, thank you as always for your insight.
Thank you.
Eric Ham is our CTV News political analyst.